Epsom Airfield comes the Prime Minister, escorted by Marshal of the Royal Air Force, Lord Tedder, Mr. Noel Baker and the French Chief of Air Staff, General Puriot. The visitors were invited to see a demonstration of several types of aircraft on which the RAF is concentrating today. Meteors and Vampires streaked past. Paratroops were dropped at less than 700 feet. The technique of supply and delivery was well demonstrated by the dropping of a field gun and a jeep to tow it. The helicopter, now much used by Transport Command, nearly stole the show. In all ways, the RAF demonstrated that it continues to be very much on its toes. It was certainly good to have the Epsom Spring meeting again, even if we hadn't got real spring to go with it. And if the weather was a bit awkward, there were plenty of people at Epsom on the first day. The big event, of course, was the Great Metropolitan Handicap, sometimes known as the Publican's Derby, and the usual racecourse excitement prevailed as the time came for the parade. There was a field of 19, the favourite being Ford Transport, carrying top weight. The Great Met, run over a sort of loop-the-loop course for a distance of about 2¼ miles, is a real test of stamina. When the field had settled down, Salubrious and Sorrel were making the running, with Compact and Duke's Jester close up. Ford Transport, Little Statute and Star Song were well placed. Presently, Star Song was seen to be going up, and when he'd successfully challenged Sorrel and the others, the race became a duel between Star Song and Ford Transport. That's how it was at Tattenham Corner, too. Then, on the way home, Salubrious came up to join battle, and Parhelion began a run on the outside. The finishing order was Star Song, Parhelion, and Salubrious, with the favourite fourth. Second and third places were literally a photo finish, a length behind Star Song.
We're here at Lord's this afternoon for our first practice.
The South African tourists, led by Alan Melville, formerly captain of Oxford and of Sussex, are reported to be a strong team. They've begun to warm up, and I'm afraid they need to, because Britain could only produce some very indifferent weather to greet their arrival. Still, there are those who prophesy a hot summer, and let's hope they're right. In any case, the South Africans are assured of the warmest of welcomes throughout their tour. At all events, they're certain to give us plenty of really attractive cricket. In parts of New York State, serious damage to crops was done during the cold spell by wild deer, which raided farmland in the search for food. A novel method of driving them off was carried out with considerable success by the Conservation Department. A simple method, they just frightened the animals by flying over them at low altitudes. Incidentally, it gave a movie-tone cameraman the chance to take these remarkable pictures. While the plane was throttled down, the deer went full speed ahead, going all out for the woods where they thought they'd be safe. They can travel, can't they? In fact, the deer can reach a speed of about 35 miles an hour on level ground. I don't know how they do it, Aintree, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they could leave Kahoo standing. Off the coast of Oregon, it's the sea lions that have been getting into trouble. Heavy weather apparently has driven them inshore, and powerful swimmers as they are, they obviously had quite a bit of trouble making their way into their favorite cave. The entrance is a tunnel under the cliff, and it's a tough battle to get through. As in the case of the deer, the story made a grand subject for one of our cameramen, who even followed up the sea lions into their shelter. His intrusion didn't seem to worry them much. Perhaps they thought a film interview quite natural after their sea adventure. Anyway, more and more sea lions came crowding in. At Philadelphia, a new two-rotor helicopter has been undergoing trials. Intended for the U.S. Navy, it's a 10-passenger job. A little bigger, and it could do the work of our cross-country buses, and do it faster too, because this machine flies at 100 miles an hour. The demonstration included a good display of weightlifting by the helicopter, which carried off a jeep with the greatest of ease. Iceland is naturally of the eruption of 5,000-foot Mount Hekla, best known of over 100 volcanoes on the island. Hekla had been dormant for 100 years, but it's known to have been in eruption almost a score of times before. The volcano now presents all the familiar signs of superatomic power. Violent explosions have been frequent, molten lava spreads over rich grazing and meadowland, and the countryside is turned into a smouldering black desert. Her Royal Highness Princess Elizabeth, speaking from South Africa on her 21st birthday, marks the occasion with this simple but historic message.
Let me begin by saying thank you to all the thousands of kind people who have sent me messages of goodwill. This is a happy day for me, but it is also one that brings serious thoughts of life looming ahead with all its challenges and with all its opportunity. Will you, the youth of the British family of nations, let me speak on my birthday as your representative. Now that we are coming to manhood and womanhood, it is surely a great joy to us all to think that we shall be able to take some of the burden off the shoulders of our elders, who have fought and worked and suffered to protect our childhood. If we all go forward together with an unwavering faith, a high courage, and a quiet heart, we shall be able to make of this ancient Commonwealth, which we all love so dearly, an even grander thing, more free, more prosperous, more happy, and a more powerful influence for good in the world than it has been in the greatest days of our forefathers. To accomplish that, we must give nothing less than the whole of ourselves. There is a motto which has been borne by many of my ancestors, a noble motto, I serve. Those words were an inspiration to many bygone heirs to the throne when they made their knightly dedication as they came to manhood. I cannot quite do as they did, but through the inventions of science, I can do what was not possible for any of them. I can make my solemn act of dedication with the whole empire listening. I should like to make that dedication now. It is very simple. I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and to the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong. But I shall not have strength to carry out this resolution alone unless you join in it with me, as I now invite you to do. I know that your support will be unfailingly given. God help me to make good my vow And God bless all of you who are willing to share in it.